So this is Genesis chapter 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day he rested from all his work. And God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work he had done. This is the account of the heavens and the earth when they were created. The Lord God made the earth and the heavens. And no shrub of the field had yet appeared on earth, and no plant of the field had yet sprung up, for the Lord God had sent rain on the earth, and there was no man to work the ground. But streams came up from the earth and watered the whole surface of the ground. The Lord formed the man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. Now the Lord God had planted a garden in the east, in Eden, and there he put the man he had formed. And the Lord God made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. Excuse me. In the middle of the garden were the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. A river watering the garden flowed from Eden. From there it was separated into 4 headwaters. The name of the first is Pishon. It winds through the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. The gold of that land is good, aromatic resin, and onyx are also there. The name of the second river is Gihon. It winds through the entire land of Cush. The name of the third river is Tigris. It runs along the east side of Ashar. And the fourth river is Euphrates. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. And the Lord God commanded the man, "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat of it, you will surely die." The Lord God said, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." Now the Lord God had formed out of the ground all the beasts of the field, and also the birds of the air. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them, and whatever the man called for He brought to them the man to see what he would name them, and whatever the man called each creature, that was its name. So the man gave names to all the livestock, the birds of the air, and all the beasts of the field. But for Adam no suitable helper was found. So the Lord God caused man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man. For this reason a man will leave his father and mother, and be united to his wife. They will become one flesh." The man and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame. Let's continue and see what happens with this cat. Now, the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God really say, 'Do not eat from any tree in the garden'?" The woman said to the serpent, "We may eat from the tree in the garden, but God did say, 'You must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die." "You will not surely die," the serpent said to the woman, "for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Then the man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord as he was walking in the garden in the cool of the day. They hid from the Lord God among the trees of the garden, but the Lord God called to them. "Where are you?" He answered, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." And he said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" The man said to the woman, "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it." Then the Lord God said to the woman, "What is this you have done?" The woman said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." So the Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all the livestock and all the wild animals. You will crawl on your belly and eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your offsprings and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel." He said to the woman, "I will greatly increase your pain in childbearing, the pain you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you." To Adam he said, "Because you listened to your wife and you ate from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat it. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil you will eat of it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and dust you will return." And Adam and his wife, because she would become the mother of all the living. Adam named his wife Eve because she would become the mother of all the living. The Lord made garments of skin for Adam and his wife and clothed them. And the Lord God said, "The man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever." So the Lord banished him from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he had been taken. After he drove them out, he placed on the east side of the Garden of Eden cherub and a flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life. So, it looks like Adam and Eve kind of screwed everything up, huh? So, this is a perfect example of our life today, isn't it? We have all the blessings, our true blessings from God. He wants us to have everything that we need to live and be happy, right? Just like the Garden of Eden for Adam, right? He made him the boss. He made him have everything he could possibly desire. He even gave him a woman to have sex with, okay? When they become one flesh, that's what that means, okay? God knows what men need, okay? But he didn't listen to God. God was pretty specific. Do not eat from these 2 trees. I mean, I don't think you can get any more specific. I'm sure God was probably standing right there and being like, see this tree right here? This tree, like, see this? You see this tree? Don't eat from it. Don't eat from it. How many times do we know what God is telling us and we do the exact opposite? It's like we don't even care what he said. But then, because we don't care what he says, we are punished. And we are unblessed. You know what I mean? And our lives become sucky, right? Everything was going cool. Great, great, great. Hey, look at this. Adam was probably lounging out in that beautiful garden, probably doing a little bit of weeding because he needed to take care of the garden, make sure that, you know, it was kept up. Because that's a lot of work, right? Gardening is hard. If you've ever known anything, gardening is definitely hard. You gotta, like, you know, weed whack, mow the lawn, weed, prune the bushes, a lot. Then you have to, you know, take care of the animals, clean up after them. So Adam was busy. He was probably real happy living this beautiful life in the Garden of Eden. But then he let somebody else mess things up, right? So people often say, the devil doesn't exist. Well, that's interesting because, you know, pretty much first story or like, yeah, in the Bible, Genesis says that he does. So first off, we have to recognize that he does. And we can see how the devil works through other people. The devil was there. He found the weaker minded of the 2. Why didn't he go to Adam? Why didn't he convince Adam to eat the apple? Instead, he chose Eve to eat the apple. And then he used her to destroy Adam. So this looks really bad for chicks, right? I know that. But it could be anyone. It could have been anyone. It could have been Adam's brother that, you know, was his demise, that was tricked by the devil. But it was somebody very close to Adam, right? The only person that could have convinced them, because, you know, God wasn't going to say, hey, I know I just told you not to eat from that tree, but now you can, go ahead. You know what I mean? So the devil uses other people to trip us up. So let's keep that in mind, all right? So, we need to understand that when we are walking with the Lord, it is our journey. It's very important not to let somebody else, not even me. I am no one. I am learning with you, okay? To steer you in the wrong direction, to take you on the wrong path, because look what happened. They got kicked out of Eden. They can never return. Now Adam has to work super duper hard to even grow any kind of food to survive. They have to wear clothes now, which means they have to do laundry, which totally stinks. You know what I mean? Everything got messed up because they listened to the wrong person. Because that person cared about themselves, right? Eve didn't really care about what was going to happen. She wanted what she wanted. She ate for selfish reasons. She wanted to be like God. Okay? So, it's not our responsibility to be like God, okay? Let God be God and let us be us. Just like when he was doing all the animals, he said, according to their kind, okay? We have a kind too. So we need to recognize a few things. God's the boss. He gives us specific instructions. If we don't obey, our life is going to be harder, okay? We can have a nice, peaceful life over here walking with God with nobody in our ears. Nope. Hear no evil. Hear no evil. You know what I mean? But instead, we choose to walk with other humans instead of God. And look at what's happening to us. Look what happened to Adam. Okay? So I want you to read this. Read it on your own. We got to chapter 4, Genesis 1 through 4, the beginning of 4, and meditate on it. Ask God to show you what you're supposed to see. I know what I see. I know what God is showing me about Adam. and about his relationship with Adam. Okay? But your interpretation could be for you. Okay? I hope you guys got something from this. Next, we'll be talking about Cain and Abel. And those are Adam and Eve's 2 sons. Okay? Have a wonderful day. Be blessed and be a blessing. Bye.